Folks, my name is Cheryl. Tonight we're gonna be talking about money. Um, as the world gets closer to recession, depression, regression, all those shun thing, we need to get very serious with our lives and handle our finances very well. Finance is something that is of great importance to almost everyone or everyone living on the face of the earth. So, one thing they fail to tell us or teach us in school is how to handle money. There's no real course that talks about money. I know people think, okay, like some people are doing economics and stuff like that, but everyone is just second guessing. No one really understands money. So tonight we're going to be talking about money. And I do tell people every now and then, salary is something they pay you to forget about your dream. I don't care how much salary you earning, maybe except you are maybe one of these Fortune 500 CEOs that are making maybe 10, 12, 5 million a year dollars. Well, you could say, well, but even at that, you're still being controlled. Your time is controlled. Everything about you is controlled. And the most important part of your day are being controlled by someone that's maybe on the golf course, playing golf, chatting, doing stuff, just because they were proactive about their life and not reacting to the present situation of things. So I'm going to be talking to us tonight on how to safeguard some of the steps. I mean, these are not stone written steps, but this will really help someone out there to kind of break through and get through a season like this in our lives. Number one thing, you can't rely on one source of income. You need to be very consistent. You need to be very, intentional about that, because like I said, and this also goes to business owners, entrepreneurs out there, that just having one business it's a very risky thing. And it's also been proven that an average new business startups close down within the first 24 months. So I always tend to tell people, in as much you should dissipate your whole energy into doing one thing at a time, but at the same time you have to be able to diversify. Recently, I was talking to a guy in Africa that, as the US economy is kind of struggling right now, it's the right time to invest into some other economy, maybe the European market, the Asian market, and most especially the African market. I'm very pan-African. So investing to be able to diversify, be able to run 2, 3, 4, 6 businesses at the same time. But you need to focus on just one at every point in time. Number two thing, you need to understand the power of compound interest. A lot of us do not, most especially someone like me. I mean, we weren't taught about money from school. There's no major course that tells you about money. Everyone that's ever taught us, from our parents, from our teachers, all they tell us is how to spend money. No one ever told us how to save money, how to multiply money, how to, make money work for you. And it's in our world now, it's been proven that, if while sleeping, if your money isn't working for you, then you're still poor. So you need to be able to re-strategize things around your life and tend to understand. I mean, look inward and ask yourself, how do I get better? What are some of those things that I need to do for me to really achieve some level or another level of financial independence? So you can't rely on just one income. You have to have different streams of income. And if you ask me, Sheil, what do you think I should invest into in this kind of shaded or very very unstable kind of economy right now that we have all around the world, I will point you out to real estate. And I might have a little bit different opinion about that. I don't really believe in building houses upon houses, because the house you build today, it's might not be relevant in the next 10 years. So I advise people buy as many lands as possible. Well, people might say in advance, what about if I'm borrowing money to buy those lands? How am I going to be paying the monthly whatever commitment from where you borrowed the land? I mean, the money from. I mean, you could do so many things on empty lands. You know, someone was telling me out last night how she had this huge land in a place called Denton in Dallas. That's northern Dallas. And all she does is they packed all these trailers and lorries, and she charges like $250 per trailer. And you know, she has over 30 trailers on that place. So that's dope. I mean, that's something you could set up easily. Another thing is you could start a farm on the land. You could start rearing cattle and what have you. I have a couple of acres in a place called Oklahoma where I rear cattle. That's all I do on my land. And guess what? Those cattle, they bring up milk, they bring up meats, and you know, it's tends to do something. I'm not a financial expert, so you might want to look in what I don't give financial advice, but those are some of those things you could really look into. Another thing is adding value. I work in IT field, and at some point in time, data analysis were the main thing, business analysis were some of the in thing. What other things are people doing in IT? Scrum and stuff like that. But guess what? Things are moving away. Machine learning is taking over. Artificial intelligence is taking over. Cybersecurity is taking over. So make sure you up your skills. Be able to, you know, be very fluid. Don't just be rigid, like, oh, this is what I do and that's all I'm going to do. You being an accountant, just an accountant is not enough. You being a medical doctor is not just enough. I was talking to a friend this morning who just started out a company that allows physicians to visit people at their home. And guess what? He's doing awesomely well. So be fluid in your thought pattern, so that when the trajectory of things are changing, you know, if it's facing south, you're not still facing north. So be very fluid. Position yourself so that when things are changing, you are able to change, you know, with the new stuff going on. I mean, in 2020 was one of the years people had the most money. I mean, Bezos went from a couple of billions to hundreds of billions. So it's because they are fluid. They add this business, and they made sure that whatever situation that comes around to our world, they are able to turn around and make things happen for their business. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is, you know, you need to take risk. A lot of people have been procrastinating that, okay, I'm going to start a business next month. I'm going to start a business first month of the year. Guess what? This is the 7th month of 2022. Ask yourself, what have you done? You know, we started a couple of businesses in recent time. You know, we started wholesaling cars and stuff like that. I mean, these are some things I've been planning years ago. And guess what? Now is the time. So, you know, take risk. The most simple steps to take is register the business first. Once you register, have a plan for your life and start working towards that plan daily. It's not something you just push aside and you tell yourself, no, I'm going to do it next week. No, you cannot do it. You need to start now. And if you can follow some of the steps, I'm still going to be coming around sharing some insight into some of the businesses I think will be okay. Like, I mean, today we talked about real estate. I'm not talking about the house building and stuff like that, but buy lands. Buy as many lands as you can. You see, some people did some analogy a couple years ago, and it was discovered that each, maybe 7 point something billion people on earth, each person could have like 6 hectares of land. So what's stopping you from having as many lands as possible? And guess what? Land do not depreciate. Land does not multiply itself. So whatever land we have 20,000 years ago is the same land we still have right now. So why don't you tap into that and just look around you? I mean, personally, and this is no financial advice to anybody, personally, I believe Africa is the next big thing. Look into countries, you know, around Africa, but you gotta do your due diligence. You know, like, One of those places we're looking at investing into is places like Abuja, Nigeria. But you need to be very, very careful. Do your due diligence. Make sure you're not falling into the wrong ends. Another place is Kigali in Rwanda that we're looking into. You need to do a couple of very, very deep analysis, diligence into this. Ask people on ground, and not just anybody that is just gonna run around with your money and stuff like that. I mean, of course, South Africa, places like the Stellenbosch area in Cape Town. That's Upper Cape Town. There, I mean, these are places we're looking at investing into, lines and stuff like that. And later on, if you can hold them for like 2, 4, 5, 6 years, you could turn around. I believe they might have 10x by then, which does even the S&P 500, the stock market, all the Bitcoin and stuff. I mean, I'm not talking down the stock market, S&P 500. I think they are good, but it might not even be able to 10x in the next couple of years. So these are some of those things you should look into. You should be looking into it now, at investing into it. And the most basic thing is you need to be prayerful, believe in God, and just in case you've not given your life to Christ, please do so. Because all these things are just useful for us here on earth. The Bible says, "What shall it profit a man if he gains everything, at the end of everything, losing his soul?" And I pray for you today that God will come true for you and make everything work fine. My name is Sheon Alpha, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.